Humanity has made some big boats. This one has a roller coaster. This one has a water slide. This one became a water slide. But even the largest cruise ship on the seven seas can't hold a candle to the largest floating vessel ever built, the FLNG Prelude, an over $10 billion vessel moored off Australia's northern coast. Height, 105 meters / 345 feet, or as tall as Big Ben if you added another clock face. Width, 75 meters / 246 feet, or as wide as if the Leaning Tower of Pisa finally fell over, then a coach bus parked next to it, then a giraffe laid down next to that. Length, 488 meters or 1,600 feet, as wide as the Sears Tower is tall if you replace the antennas with the Navy Pier Ferris wheel. So why would you build all that? And what does it do? And why were the plans to build another one scrapped? All this and more today at whatever time it is. First, semantics. To name a largest ship, you must define the word ship. To some, a ship must self-propel, which the Prelude, though you can tow it and steer it, does not. I'm using South Africa's definition of a ship from 1983, which says self-propulsion doesn't matter. But it's not like the South African law circa the 1980s never got anything wrong, so let's talk about the Seawise Giant. The Seawise Giant was a self-propelling oil tanker, 458.46 meters or about 1,500 feet long. Think the Sears Tower if you cut the Ferris wheel on top in half. And yes, I'm sticking with Sears Tower because my writer told me I can't put her name on anything with the W word in it. At max speed, it took 5.6 miles to slow it to a stop, and turning it required 2.719 square miles of empty area. That's more than 2 Central Parks. In its day, the Seawise Giant moved a lot of crude oil between the Middle East and the United States. In 1988, it caught a bomb, then caught fire, then sank near Larak Island in Iran. A Norwegian company bought what was left of her, renamed her the Happy Giant, and fixed her up. She got sold and renamed a couple more times before reaching her final resting place in Gujarat, India, where it took 18,000 workers to dismantle her. She'll likely hold the longest self-propelling ship record for a while, as in recent decades, changes in regulations and priorities in the oil industry have driven people to build smaller, faster, more maneuverable ships. Another contender would be the Pioneering Spirit, which installs and removes oil platforms. It beats the Prelude by gross tonnage, over 400,000 of Prelude's 300,000, but it's about 100 meters shorter in length, which doesn't impress me much. But if you go by pure size, regardless of propulsion or tonnage, the largest ship ever built is the Prelude. It's what's called an FLNG facility, which stands for Floating Liquefied Natural Gas. You know natural gas from its work on such hits as the stove and the heater, but before it gets to your home, it has to get out of the pores and gaps between ancient rocks underground. In the ground and in your home, it's, well, a gas. But in between, it often gets condensed to a liquid form which takes up 1/600th the volume it takes up as a gas. Liquefied natural gas, LNG, is more space efficient to move through pipelines or load onto cargo ships. Sort of like how it's easier to ship a bottle of water than a box of steam. LNG facilities are common on land. Pulling natural gas up from deposits underground, purifying it, chilling it down to about negative 162 degrees Celsius to get it to liquefy, then sending it out via pipeline. An FLNG facility does the same thing, but as the F implies, it's not on land, it's floating over an offshore gas field. Sometimes an FLNG facility will have a pipeline to send natural gas to shore, but more often it'll store LNG on site, and carrier ships will pick it up and transport it to market. On paper, FLNG brings some big advantages: less reliance on pipeline infrastructure and land, ability to access remote gas fields, and perhaps most convenient of all, the ability to take your entire LNG facility off a depleted field and push it somewhere else. It's the reduce, reuse, recycle of fossil fuel extraction? Forget I said that. Shell hasn't paid me enough to say that. The Prelude is Shell's first FLNG facility, moored here in a remote spot in the Indian Ocean north of Western Australia. It started operations in 2019, even though in 2007, when the natural gas field it's positioned over was discovered, it wasn't considered large or close to land enough to be worth exploiting. In 2009, Shell announced plans to build an FLNG facility to bring it in reach, and construction on the Prelude began in 2012. Over 5,000 people built it at Samsung Heavy Industries shipyard on Goji Island in South Korea, one of few shipyards in the world large enough to build a hull this big. The hull departed South Korea in 2013, with other parts still being built around the world. In the end, the Prelude would be made of 260,000 metric tons of steel, enough to build 56 more gateway arches and play a rousing round of big croquet with the Sphere. It's also got enough cables on board to stretch from Tokyo Tower to the Metro Bank Center in Manila, and one of the world's largest chains. 25,000 links used in their mooring system, which itself comprises 16 lines drilled into the seafloor to tie this bad boy down. 600 different engineers worked on the designs for the Prelude. It had to fit all the operations of a normal LNG facility onto about a quarter of the space, so a lot of components had to be stacked or Tetrised together. They also designed a system to cool and liquefy the gas that churns through 15 million liters of cold water from the ocean in an hour, and enough onboard storage to hold 175 Olympic swimming pools of LNG. The Prelude is intended to produce 3.6 million metric tons of the stuff per year, much less than a land-based facility, but still a lot. Once every week or so of operation, a tanker hauls out enough LNG from the Prelude to heat a London-sized city for a whole week. Probably not London though, because most of the shipments from the Prelude are headed to Japan, China, South Korea, or Thailand. But this ship doesn't just produce LNG, it also houses about 200 people living so far from civilization that you don't even see them on the Google Maps satellite. They're in the blue. The Prelude's got helipads to receive travelers who have taken the 2.5-hour ride from Broome, a gym, a golf simulator, a cafeteria, and accommodations placed well out of the way of the natural gas processing part of things. There are also teams back in Australia responsible for supplying the Prelude with whatever equipment and supplies they need, receiving their trash, and monitoring their internet and other onboard systems. The Prelude is designed to survive about 50 years, 25 to exhaust the field it's moored over, then after some light refurbishment, 25 more wherever it goes next. It's also designed to survive a, quote, 1 in 10,000 year storm, featuring 185-mile-per-hour winds and 65-foot waves, as well as a Category 5 cyclone, which is good because it's moored in an area known as Cyclone Alley. Shell built the Prelude with aspirations to build more and even bigger FLNG facilities after, but by 2022, one article I read was calling the Prelude, quote, one of the biggest engineering disappointments in recent history, thanks to its semi-frequent shutdowns, power system issues, faulty smoke detectors, poor venting, etc. At the time of writing, Shell isn't planning to build another FLNG facility like the Prelude anymore, so it looks like her bigger ship title is safe for now. At least, that is, until I finally build and launch Halfa's Cruise, a little side hustle I've been cooking up where I detach the island of Manhattan from the seafloor and sail it around the world. Watch this space. Now, if you want to take all the effort out of planning your meals, you can book a cruise ship. Or, and this is a better idea, you could check out this video's sponsor, Factor. Factor is the best, lowest effort way to eat healthy at home. I don't know about you, but between work, plans, and boatloads of other responsibilities, I often don't have the time to make sure I'm eating well. That's where Factor comes in. They send you pre-packaged meals that are ready to eat after just 2 minutes in the microwave and are miles better than the, let's face it, peanut butter and jelly sandwich I would have had otherwise. And the food is really genuinely good. Like, I could have spent a whole day making a green curry chicken that wasn't a quarter as good as the one Factor sent me. Recently, they've doubled the size of their menu to give you more options than ever, meaning there has truly never been a better time to give them a try. So whether you're trying to eat healthier, or build a better meal routine, or just trying to take down your weekly PB&J count, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code HAIFB50 to get half off and free breakfast for a year. Do it now!